What is up? It is Austin here bringing you guys another episode of Ray Talk Sports. I believe we're on episode 6, and it has been an interesting week in the NFL world, man. We had some injury scares, we had some crazy games, crazy finishes, and of course, you guys know I always start out at the top of the show talking about my Bengals, and we were absolutely disappointing yet again for the 1,000th time when we played Green Bay. I know a lot of Bengals fans put a lot of stock in the second half because Joe Flacco had a really nice drive in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter, we kind of made it interesting. The best part of the game for me was very easily the Ja'Marr Chase touchdown after Karen Valentine, this corner who knows he's not good enough to cover Ja'Marr Chase. He swatted away this extremely underthrown ball by Flacco that wasn't even a catchable pass for Ja'Marr Chase. And, he started doing his gritty, and he started celebrating, pointing at the sideline. And I remember just thinking in the moment, I was like, oh my fucking God, I hope the next play we just throw it to Chase anyway. Because I was getting flashbacks from when we played the Chiefs a couple years ago and Ja'Marr got grittied on by, I think it was Charvarius Ward, and then the next play, Ja'Marr Chase head topped him into the end zone for a touchdown. One of my favorite moments in Bengals history. So I was praying that happened, and thank God it happened again. Now, Karen Valentine wasn't covering him that time. Instead, Chase was double covered. I believe he was covered by Keyshawn Nixon, and I can't remember who the safety over the top was, but they were interfering with him the whole time. It literally did not matter. Ja'Marr Chase makes the catch and comes down with the touchdown. And I know some people were coping like, well, you didn't catch it over Valentine. Like, I promise you, if Valentine was in that same situation, Chase probably would have been wide open. Like, Valentine's a worse corner than Keyshawn Nixon. And honestly, it was crazy to me. When he was hitting that gritty, I was like, oh my God, the worst corner in their secondary is the one that's celebrating the most. I thought it was crazy. But, Ja'Marr Chase did what he had to do. But, of course, Green Bay gets the last laugh. They win, of course. And I saw a lot of Bengals fans, like I said, coping. And, everyone was talking about, like, Joe Flacco looked pretty good in the second half. We actually had positive EPA in that game, but it was like a really small positive EPA. And it was still an embarrassing game. I think we got shut out in the first half. I read a stat that since Joe Burrow's injury, the Cincinnati Bengals have not scored a touchdown in the first half this season since the Joe Burrow injury. Now, in the Cleveland game, he had a first half touchdown, and then the Jacksonville game, I think he had a touchdown in his first or his second drive. So, and unfortunately, that driver is injured, we're moving the ball up the field. So it just goes to show again that I think this season has proved that Joe Burrow was last year's MVP. If you're just taking the word, at face value and the definition of the word, right? The most valuable player to their team. It was not Josh Allen. It was not Patrick Mahomes. It was not Lamar Jackson. It was Joe Burrow. We see what they are without him. Now, the Ravens, I understand you can make that argument that, like, hey, they're terrible too. They're 1-5. The issue I have with that is they were 1-2 with Lamar. So they were losing with Lamar this year too. Cincinnati was 2-0 and Joe Burrow starts. Obviously, they didn't finish one of those games, but it's still minor, obviously. I'm going to defend my guy and take my guy, of course. If you say Lamar, I have no issue with it. But, I mean, honestly, Joe, we saw what he did in last year's system with the Bengals at over 40 touchdowns, damn near 5,000 yards, less than 10 interceptions. The Cincinnati quarterbacks, I think, are closing in on 10 interceptions already. We're not even halfway through the season, so you'd love to see that. But Cincinnati has a huge game tonight at the time I'm recording this. Podcast is actually going to come out a day late. Usually I have it come out on Thursdays. This is going to come out on Friday. I don't like it coming out a day late, but honestly, I have work. I picked up a shift today. It was a short shift, but it was a shift like right in the middle of the day where I'd use time to like edit the podcast and put it up. So I'm a little bit busy, but it was a free, easy shift at work. It was like 4 hours, which is nothing, but shit, I was off today and 4 hours of work, that's free money. So I'm taking that. But, I will miss the start of the Bengals game, but I'll probably see the end of it. I'll be watching it at work anyway. Like I have it on my phone and my job doesn't really care about that. But, it's a huge game tonight. I think this game kind of decides their season, right? With Pittsburgh. And what I mean by that is the AFC North is still wide open. Pittsburgh, obviously, they're 5-1. They're the big dogs, but Cincinnati's in second place at 2-4. So it's not like we're out of this. And we know Pittsburgh, they always have a second half collapse. It's happened every year for like the past 10 years. They start off with this amazing start, like holy shit, they're 8-1, 8-2, which I think they were 8-2 last year. And then they just collapse and finish the season 9-8. Or they might have been like 8-3 or something. But my point is, they always get off to these crazy hot starts. They suck at the end of the year, maybe sneak into the playoffs, get blown out in the first round. So I mean, we know Pittsburgh's ceiling is Aaron Rodgers does not change that, in my opinion. There's no way in hell they win a playoff game with Aaron Rodgers. That's like my lock. If I'm wrong about that, hey, I will come on stream and tell everybody I was an idiot. I was 100% wrong. But I truly don't think that they're going to go anywhere with Aaron Rodgers. So, I'm pretty confident that if Cincinnati can upset them, drop Pittsburgh to 5-2, get us to 3-4. Obviously, it's not ideal, but we have time to make up ground, right? I think this game kind of decides your season. Now, as a realist, do I think Cincinnati's salvaging this season? No, but as a fan, I'm going to be there every step of the way. Like I said, I pick Cincinnati every single week to win. I'm going to rock with my team, especially on this podcast. I'm not going to pick against them. So it's, again, concerning at where we're at, but there's still hope. And who knows, you pick up an upset tonight, move up to 3-4, you got a pretty favorable schedule going forward. Not amazing, but I know we have the Jets at one point. We'll play the Ravens twice, but, obviously the Ravens, they're going to get Lamar back. Lamar's not going to be injured for the whole year. So, we'll see what happens. But it's very interesting. Very interesting. Cincinnati has put themselves in such a weird spot. Winning those first two games is so clutch because if they lose that 1-point game against Cleveland, if they don't make that comeback against Jacksonville, you're fucked. At least we have something going for us. We beat two AFC teams, two teams in the conference, and the AFC sucks, And while we're talking about the AFC and things sucking, I need to address some of these Dolphins fans on Twitter that went crazy at me because I said that Tua is like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Dolphins fans, and I respect riding for your guy. Let me just say this. I 100% respect, sorry if you hear my chair in the background and a fucking train, of course, decided to pass by right now, but I respect rocking with your guy, right? It's rocking with them through and through. I get that. You can support your player and also be honest about them. Tua has 11 touchdowns and 7 picks this year, and everyone that says that you're hating on Tua, if you say that Tua's had a bad year, they all say you're not watching the games, you're just looking at stats. I have watched these games. My girlfriend is a Dolphins fan. She's a Packers fan at heart, but she also supports the Dolphins on the side. When we started dating and she started watching football, so sorry for that train. That is so goddamn annoying. But anyways, Dolphins fans, I watched the games. I have watched Tua routinely in clutch situations, in fourth quarter situations, throw interceptions, collapse, take sacks when he shouldn't. I mean, good God, I remember the fucking Patriots game where they had a chance. He throws an interception with less than 3 minutes to go. They get the ball back, and on fourth down, instead of throwing the ball, he just takes the sack. I saw when they played the Bills, and they kept the game close. And in a game-tying situation with receivers open, Tua floats an interception. I saw the most recent game against the Chargers. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My cats are just starting to be crazy. But I saw the Chargers game. I saw him throw 3 interceptions. Yes, one of them was a bobble out of Waddle's hand. And people were like, well, at the end of the game, he threw an interception when he did a 70-yard touchdown. Like, who cares? Bro, he threw a 5-yard route instead of trying to stretch the field and still threw an interception. And then the second interception, which I think was the most costly one, they're on their side of the field while the game's still close, and he just throws a fucking pick in the middle of the field. Tua has not been clutch, and that is the biggest issue. Tua can put up these insane numbers when they're playing bad teams. He's a first 3 quarters merchant, but when the game is close, he is by far one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. If I was to take and rank quarterbacks 1 through 32 for all the starters right now, who would I least trust in the fourth quarter of these games? Tua's like bottom 5. I don't know any other quarterbacks that I'm as shaky with him because the thing with Tua is while he's better than those other quarterbacks, it is routine. Every time in these close situations, close games, he crumbles. Now, I know against the Chargers, yes, he did throw a late game touchdown to a wide open Darren Waller. However, they wouldn't have even been in that situation if Tua doesn't turn the ball over the way he does. So, these Dolphins fans on Twitter are just telling me that I'm box score watching. No, I'm watching the fucking games, dude. I'm seeing Tua fold in these moments over and over again. Is he the only problem? No, the Dolphins have a bunch of other problems. Their defense is not that good. But I have seen quarterbacks in shitty situations drafted that highly perform way better. I watched last year, and Tua's a top 5 pick, so he deserves to get graded like a top 5 pick. I watched Joe Burrow, who, yes, was a number 1 overall pick, have at one point last year, not in totality, I think the defense ended up having some good games at the end of the year when we played like Dorian Thompson, Robbins, all these fucking wishy-washy quarterbacks. But through the first half of the year, that defense was statistically the worst defense of all time. we were putting up points, and Joe Burrow was putting up stats that no other quarterback would lose with, and we were losing games. I mean, we were what, like 1-4 in games that we scored over 30. I watched Joe Burrow deal with this defense over and over and over again, shit the bed, and we still went 9-8. He put up over 4,000 yards, over 40 touchdowns. So I don't want to hear the excuses for Tua. Like, I get it. He's a fun story, and I like Tua. I want to root for him. He's a quarterback that I like. I actually like the way that he approaches the game. I like, I see the traits. I see the elite traits that he once had. I think he could be a good quarterback, but Tua is the definition of a system quarterback. He has to be in a system that works perfectly for him. And while I think system quarterback, that's not a knock. I don't like that being a knock. Like, a system quarterback, that's fine if you're a system quarterback, bro. Tom Brady was a system quarterback for years, like that, or so we all thought, and then obviously went to Tampa Bay. But system quarterbacks are fine. You're put in a system. It's your coach's job to put you in a successful system. So I don't think being a system quarterback is a knock, but it's like, dude, like Tua, I need you to play out of structure every once in a while. I need you to make some clutch games. I need you to have some clutch moments. And yes, again, against the Chargers, gives them the gives them the lead with 40 seconds left. Bro, there's 3 other quarters to the game. They shouldn't have even been in that situation. So the Tua fans, I think, are some of the most delusional fans. They are ridiculous. I respect the honest ones, but good God, I literally watched Tua have a 3 interception game, and people were saying, yeah, no, Tua played great. He's not the problem at all. Like, it's ridiculous. But those are the 2 biggest things I want to talk about. This episode's going to be kind of a little, faster than the other ones. Minute-wise, it might end up being longer, but I just want to make sure I get through these things because I have work soon. But I wanted to record this and get this out because I've been loving this podcast. I've been loving this series. Now, obviously, these aren't like 2-hour-long podcasts, but I'm just doing it by myself. In the future, when I get more people on, would I like to post longer podcasts? Absolutely. But anyways, getting to my predictions for the week, right? First game, Thursday Night Football, tonight, the night that I'm recording this. We got Steelers at Bengals. And you know me, I'm going to take my guys. I'm going with Cincy. Fuck the Steelers. I hate them. Obviously, if you're a Steelers fan, like, of course, I don't hate you. Obviously, root for your team. I'm just saying, as a Bengals fan, this is the team I hate the most. I can't stand Pittsburgh. With Baltimore, I respect them. I like Lamar, or not like, I fucking love watching Lamar Jackson play. And I think their coach is a great coach. Tomlin's also a great coach. I give him respect. But man, growing up as a Bengals fan, being a like diehard Bengals fans and watching every single game in the 2010s, there's not a team that I hate more than Pittsburgh. I never forget the fucking dirty hit they put on Giovanni Bernard that got him injured, or the dirty hit that fucking Juju put on Vontaze Burfict, which, yes, Burfict was a dirty player. I acknowledge that, but that doesn't give you the right to be dirty back, in my opinion. I watched so many moments over the years, so whenever Pittsburgh loses, I win, bro. So, yeah. That being said, I'm choosing Cincinnati to come out with this upset over Pittsburgh. It is an upset. I believe Pittsburgh is favored by a little bit. I'm not sure how much. And how do I think they're going to pull off this upset? Joe Flacco has a 3-touchdown, no interception game, 2 to Jamar Chase, 1 to Noah Fant, and it's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be a huge game. This game is gonna be the Shamar Stewart party. Shamar Stewart's coming in. Trey Hendrickson's out. It's all on Shamar Stewart. This is the Shamar Stewart game. Next, we have Rams at Jaguars. This is another international game. Jaguars have a lot of fans in these international games. But I'm going to go with LA. I think they're just the better team. I trust Matthew Stafford way more than I trust Trevor Lawrence. And I think Jared Verse has a coming out party. I believe he's not injured, right? I could be wrong about that. But if he's healthy, I think Jared Verse is having a crazy game. Give me Matt Stafford and the Rams to come out over the Jaguars. Next, we have Eagles at Vikings. Oh, my goodness. This game could be good and could also be a snooze fest because I believe not only is J.J. McCarthy still injured, but Carson Wentz has a shoulder injury. And the Eagles, they're like the most boring team in the world to watch. Now, they've lost 2 weeks in a row, which I am just here for. I'm so here for. I hate the way that, their coach talks. And I'm not going to lie, Jalen Hurts, I respect the fuck out of him. That guy is a great player. But goddamn it, do I get so annoyed by his post-game press conferences. And I don't even know what it is. It's just the fact that he has no energy. He's lifeless, And like with my quarterbacks, I want them to be like lively and, part of the, I don't know. It sounds like I'm just complaining to complain. I give Jalen Hurts his props. I give Jalen Hurts his respect. He is a good player and he's locked in. I get it. I'm not a pro athlete. So maybe that's the mentality it takes to win. But I don't know why. He just annoys me. But Eagles, Vikings, give me the Eagles to win this game. I think they get back on track, especially facing injured J.J. McCarthy and injured Carson Wentz. They better not lose this fucking game. Now, Patriots at Titans. This is the Mike Vrabel revenge game. Give me the Patriots. They're going to blow the fuck out of the Titans. I know the Titans just fired Brian Callahan, so, you might get that little coach firing boost where, you start to play pretty good. But I think this is a game that will be closer than people think, but give me the Patriots. I will say, if they lose this game, though, I'm going to look at them a little differently. I know they've had some big wins, but you can't lose to the Titans, bro. You can't lose to the second worst team in football, sorry. But the worst team in football, they play in the next game. Panthers at the Jets. The Jets, I cannot believe what I saw. You guys know me. I'm a Justin Fields fan. I love Justin Fields. I will defend Justin Fields until my dying breath. I watched that man play at Ohio State. He was electric. I watched him play in the NFL when he was at Chicago. I even watched some of his tape when he was with Pittsburgh, and y'all know how I feel about them. I love Justin Fields, but goddamn, that team is terrible. And he is part of the problem. I mean, he just does not process the field, and he does not get the ball out quick at all. So I'm going with the Panthers. Bryce Young, you're winning me back over again. I was a little worried, but you're winning me back, dude. The Panthers, they're a gritty team, and I really like their coach. I think Canales is a great coach. Next is Dolphins at Browns, and this could be a hot take, but I know I just shit on the Dolphins, but I'm taking the Dolphins. Here's the thing. The Browns have an elite defense. We know this. The Dolphins are free-falling. This is one of those games where I think the Dolphins' offensive talent is just going to be too much for the Browns, right? The Browns have a very shitty offense. We know this. They've been bad all year. They've been bad 4 years. But I think that a lot of people are down on Miami, and rightfully so. But I think a lot of the trolling is getting in the way of the analysis. I still think Miami's a better team than the Browns, right? Tua, I think, is obviously a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. I know people are hyping up Shedeur. We literally haven't seen him play a snap in the NFL except for the preseason. And the last time we saw him, he was dreadful. Like, awful. So, I think Tua's better than both of those quarterbacks. Offensive line-wise, it's close. You could just compare things on paper, and I think Miami probably is the better team, especially when you throw in receivers. Browns got a better secondary, got better, defensive line. Miami might have better linebackers. So I understand why you would pick the Browns, but I think this is one of those games where Tua actually does have a good game. He probably throws I'd say 200-plus yards, and I would say that, probably like 1 or 2 touchdowns, 1 to Waddle, and maybe 1 to one of those depth receivers like Malik Washington. But I think they're going to take the win over the Browns on the road. Next, we have Saints at Bears. Upset alert. I'm taking the Saints. And this isn't just to hate on the Bears, but the Saints have been in a lot of games this year, and Spencer Rattler is getting better with each game. He is actually a good quarterback. He's just on one of the worst teams that I've ever seen. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say it's even that bad. I know apparently they're shopping out Olave, but they have talent. And I don't know what it is. The Bears just came off a big emotional win, and the Bears do this every year where they start to make you think, oh, shit, the Bears are good. Because I think last year they were, 4-2, and then they ended the season 5 and whatever, 5-12 or something. So, I think this is kind of one of those games where it reminds us, it's the Bears, right? I think the Saints make an upset win on the road. So, yeah, give me the Saints. Next, you have Raiders at Chiefs. Not going to spend too much time on this. Geno Smith has been terrible. I'm taking the Chiefs at home, especially now that they got Rashee Rice back. Next is Colts at Chargers. This could be, the game of the week. I'm going to take the Chargers at home. I know a lot of people are, hyped up with the Colts. Here's the thing. When I'm picking games, I usually take the quarterback that I trust more. I trust Justin Herbert more than Daniel Jones. Obviously, sometimes I pick quarterbacks that I don't trust more just because of the system they're in and the offense they're in. But I think the Chargers are going to get this done against the Colts. I think this is going to be a wake-up call for the Colts where the Colts are really good, but this is a game where they're oh, shit. We got to lock in because I truly believe that this is going to be one of the most important games for the AFC playoff picture at the end of the year. So give me the Chargers at home. I just trust Herbert more. Next, we got Giants at Broncos. I know the Giants just came off a huge win. Jackson Dart is electrifying everybody. I'm taking Denver at home. I'm sorry. Denver's just too good. Next, we have Green Bay at Arizona. I think Jacoby Brissett is starting for the Cardinals still, but I'm still taking the Packers. This is where the Packers are going to start to get on a roll here. Micah Parsons has not been that great this season, but I think this is a game where he starts to get to the quarterback. But he's been a little disappointing, so be on the lookout for that. But I'm going to take the Packers to win on the road. Next, we have Commanders at Cowboys. Could be game of the week, honestly. It's a really good week for football. Give me the Cowboys to win over the Commanders, though. Cowboys had a really disappointing loss, but man, that connection between Dak and George Pickens, it is just firing on all cylinders right now. So give me the Cowboys at home over the Commanders. Though I could see Jaden Daniels making this an insane game. I could see this game being like a 38 to 35 game in favor of Dallas. Pretty much whoever has the ball last. Next, we have Falcons at Niners. And honestly, I don't know the condition of Purdy or Mac. I know they've both been injured. And that team is just injury riddled. So I'm going to take the Falcons on the road, who just came off upsetting the Bills at home, which was an insane game. But give me the Niners to hold on it. Or, sorry, give me the Falcons to upset on the road. Bijan, going to have a crazy game. We know Bijan Robinson. Buccaneers at Lions. Another game that could be game of the week. This could be amazing. I'm going to take the Lions to win at home, though. It's a primetime game. And yes, I know the Buccaneers have been like everyone's favorite team to watch. But I'm going to take the Lions. I just think they're going to have a bounce-back game. And I think they're going to play with a vengeance, especially at home. Next, not next, but just lastly, we got the Texans at the Seahawks. This is a good game. It could be sneaky good, but it also could be sneaky boring. So give me the Seahawks because I think their defense could just utterly dominate the Texans. That offense was putrid. And now the Texans have been on a nice little streak recently. I think they're on a 2-game winning streak. So I can see, this game being a lot better than people thought. If the Texans win this game, we got to talk about them possibly coming back for the division. But give me the Seahawks at home. Sam Darnold has been awesome. There's no denying it. So, yeah, I would just take the Seahawks, especially at home, to get that done. But that is all the games that we have for this NFL slate. I would love to hear what you guys thought about today's podcast down in the comments section below. I know this one was a little quicker. We didn't cover as much topics. It's just I decided to pick up a shift today and forgot I had to record the podcast. So that's on me being irresponsible. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about down in the comment section below. Give me your NFL hot takes in the comment section so I can react to them on the podcast. I'd love to see what you guys would say. And yeah, that's all I got for today. So you guys have a great one. This is Austin, and I'm out. Peace, guys.